There are ideas that I've been working on Discord, right? You know what I mean? Like sitting here hashing it out and talking it out and having these conversations and like going through things. Okay. And I'm winning a lot of these arguments, right? But the truth is that individuals will eventually just expose what they are, right? Where they go like, well, how will I make money? Right? How can I be profitable if, you know what I'm saying, you stand here and have, you know what I mean, separate motherfucking people in separate places and shit? How, like, if we have cultures back, how can I make money? You're going to fuck up my money. And ultimately, it exposes what like all the bullshit is really about, right? It's about economics. It has literally nothing to do with like societal cohesion or anything of this nature, right? You know, what I mean, I know we say like economics interdependence is kind of important when it comes to social cohesion, but the truth of the matter is like it's all kind of bullshit in the end of the day. Like, you know, how much of your soul do you want to sell for fucking, you know what I mean, gold? You know what I mean? That's kind of where we all get down to in the end of the day. So, well, it's where I get down to in the end of the day anyway. Like, what's more important? Like, yo, there's no amount of shiny trinkets that's worth your soul and your health and your family and your people, right? But like, we trade them for these things on a regular basis because of the fact that, you know, we live in the society that we do, right? When you have a multicultural society, your culture kind of gets destroyed. You end up not having care. You don't care for the people around you, right? Because of the fact that they're not you, they're not your people. And it drives heavy growth in stock exchanges and in companies and things of this nature. So, in this thought pattern, right, I was recommended a YouTube short, right? A YouTube short came across the playlist while I was sitting here, you know, hanging out this morning, you know, eating some breakfast, chilling, you know, I mean, getting my day started. I wanted, and like it led me into this video right here that I'm watching, that we're going to watch right now, right? And we're going to see the prototypical liberal black, right? You know, I mean, the liberal black person who, you know, has come up in this system, who has been told a lot of nonsense, right? Like, and the problem is like, yo, when people get told things, they get told things from one perspective. They don't get told things from the whole perspective, and we're going to get into that. So let's have this conversation. Let's listen to this. I'm gonna chime in. Welcome back, everybody. I started watching this channel from this guy by the name of Anton Daniels. He has a lot of great content. I like what he's doing. I like the messages he pushes across. You know, I'm glad to see that that more and more that people are coming out with YouTube channels that, you know, there are black people that don't all think the same. Everybody has a different point of view because from, you know, for far too long, you've had this one track, one perspective narrative that's been out there and everybody acts like that you have to be think this way to be black and all this. So when I see certain people like him with their channels, they bring a lot of nuance to these conversations. So some of y'all may know Charleston White. I'm sure most of y'all know Charleston White. So Charleston White has a mentor that he calls Pops that he looks up to. And Pops was on the Anton Daniels show with him. Him and Charleston White were both on the show together. And they were talking about integration. And Pops said that he believed that integration was bad. And he said some things about Dr. King. And so let's check that out. And I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. And I want to also give my thoughts as well.
So let's see, in 2022, can the black man figure out how we can all get together from state to state and open up places of business? Because the niggas was not dumb. The niggas had their own places of business and everything until Dr. King went and said, we want to integrate it. Dr. King liked white folks and wanted to integrate with white folks because his grandmother told him you can't play with them, so he didn't understand. I want to hold hand with the white boy and become one. One what? One European, you ain't Europe. But he was the one said, let's go join them and become them. Now,
Based.
we white. He white. Perfect little Peckerwood.
Well, the reason why I really wanted to do this video is because I know there are probably a lot of people that it's probably a 50-50 split of people of all races that have an opinion on this, and I would love to, hear the people that say they agree with him, and because I don't agree with him, and the reason why I don't agree with him is because I'm sure some of y'all heard of a Monday morning quarterback, where it's like when I go back to Florida, I usually play these football sheets, right? We have a football pool, it's a big pool. You pick all the games, whoever has the least amount of wins, they win, right? There's always that guy who never plays the football pool, but on Monday, when everybody's like, yeah, I lost this game, he's always like, man, you should have known not to pick this team.
Well, that's not the Monday morning football. The Monday morning quarterback is literally it's because like ESPN and these other people stand there and go, well, the quarterback should have did this and the quarterback should have did that, after they lost the game or whatever it is, right? You know what I mean? So he's, it's the Captain Foresight type of thing, right? Like that's what the Monday morning quarterback thing literally is. It's the guy who, sits there on fucking TV and says what the guy should have done, right? There's a great Theodore Roosevelt quote about this before football was like really a big thing. He said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who said how the great man stumbled or how the doer of deeds could have done them better. It's the man in the arena whose face is marred by sweat and dirt and blood, who strives and errs and comes short again and again, who knows the value of success, who knows that there's no success without great struggle, without great strife. It's his soul that will never rest with those timid and cold souls that never tried it all." Right? One of my favorite fucking quotes of all time. Right? So I completely understand like your fucking point, right? I get you, but like use it properly. You know what I mean? It's highly important that we use things properly.
Should have picked this team. It's like, yeah, everybody knows who you should have picked when the games are all over, and you can say, well, this team won, so yeah, I'm gonna act like I knew that they was gonna win, right? That's kind of how they sound, and even though he's from that era, I just think it's kind of ridiculous to think that people like Dr. King and, in my opinion, Thurgood Marshall is like civil rights GOAT.
All right, let's say this, right? So to stand here and say that, it's kind of ridiculous to sit here and talk about this at this point, is dumb, because like when you make a mistake in life, and this is something that a lot of liberals like just don't understand. If you make a mistake in life, you don't throw good money after bad, keep trying to chase after that mistake, right? Like that's something that's a highly important, like got to learn how to fail. You know what I mean? Like you go, all right, well, this was fucking dumb. We shouldn't have did this. And then like, you figure a way back, right? You go, all right, man, listen, I'm going to have to walk my way to hell back to where the hell I came from. You know what I mean? Or you fix the shit that you have right now. But like the amount of effort and energy that you're going to have to throw into fixing this shit is fucking ridiculous. And it ends up, destroying the entire thing that you were working on in the first place. Right. Like, if you're going down the road and your fucking like engine explodes and your car catches fire, right, you have to go get a new fucking car. Because you want to fix that motherfucker on the side of the road. Well, it's going to require, you're not going to have the same car afterwards. It's not going to be that car. Right. Legit. It's going to be a whole different fucking car. Like you're going to have to sit there, replace body panels and engines and transmissions and motor mounts and wiring and fucking roofs and windshields and the whole nine because you burnt your car to the ground, right? Literally, you want to rebuild that? Like, you're going to have to go through and, like, literally, you're going to basically have a whole new car, right? Legit. That's why it is you just total the motherfucker and go, all right, man, let's start over, try something the fuck else, right? And this is kind of where the mentality gets down to. You go, all right, well, we're looking at, you have to examine what it is that you do. This isn't Monday morning quarterbacking. This is, you're looking at what you did and then going back and saying, hey, look, was this a good idea or was this a bad idea, right? Like, how did this work out? And when you had 50 years of, well, actually 100 years of just exploitative growth, right, in population, you could sit here and print money and have exponential growth of your economy and the GDP and everybody just get richer over and over and over again, right? Which was, amazing for everyone, right? But once that stops happening, because like this all happened because like oil was discovered and oil's magic basically, right? And you were able to transport goods and refrigerate things and do all the type of stuff that was able to be done, feed a whole lot of more people than you were able to feed before, right? Once you've reached the peak of that and you industrialize and everybody has to move to like one area because of the fact that, cities are a thing, right? And people stop having kids in a city, right? Because on the farm, kids are labor, in a city, kids are, expensive furniture that are loud and obnoxious. What ends up happening is you end up having, like a lower population. And when you have a lower population, that means that like you don't have the ability to have the social programs or have the growth or have the expansion of the consumer product market and all these type of things. And everything was based off the expansive model, right? And that was great for about 40 or 50 years, right? Probably from like 1945 to 1995 before kind of like everything started coming apart at the seams, right? And we're at the point right now where everything's just dilapidated and fucked. And we're looking at ourselves and looking at our society and going like, okay, well, we don't have families anymore. We don't have communities anymore. We don't have like fucking love anymore. We don't have any of these things, right? And we go, why? We go, oh, well, because like, we tried to, replace our culture with, plastic trinkets. And you go, oh man, people are living now better now than they ever did. Look at all the luxuries you have. Like, yeah, okay. How's their health doing? How's those 40% of the population has diabetes? How's 60% that are obese? Right? Like, how's the human beings don't have any family, right? Extremely stressed. People highly in debt. Families separated. People fucking their kids. All these fucking things that are going on in our society. How's all that doing for you? Legit. How's all that shit happening? Like literally, like there's whole psychological studies done on the fact that like when you have kids separated from their fucking family members and they meet up with them, they end up like having incestual relationships. And this is happening all over the fucking country. One of the largest, porn things on the internet, motherfuckers watching people fuck their family members. Does this seem like a healthy society to you? Seem like we're being good? But we're prosperous, right? We lost a lot of things. We didn't have these conversations. We didn't think about them. Because like, we were rich. When you're not rich anymore and you're looking around and you go, well, I'm not going to be richer than my parents. And like me trading everything for this is just not worth it. We need to have a conversation. It's not Monday morning quarterbacking to go like, we need to have a conversation, figure out what the fuck we're doing because this is not working. And this is the things that we're talking about. Having your own local businesses that, you frequent and keep some money in the community and, allows for like, sports teams and, kids stuff to be funded by, local businesses who, again, like, are tied in and everything's integrated in your fucking community. And we don't want to have that conversation because of the fact that like we have this idea that we should never be tied down to an area. You should not care about your area because like, your neighbor, according to the news could, be raping your kid when 94% of all individuals who, kids who get fucked with are fucked with by a family member. All this shit is fucking retarded. Like legit, all this shit. It's fucking awful. We need to talk, you know what I mean? And like, have a real conversation about these things because this is really what all this shit's about. At the end of the day. Let's keep going.
I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves, probably because he didn't get assassinated. When you get assassinated, your legend grows even more. But just in terms of what he did for the little guy and on a major scale, he helped a lot of people and he helped a lot of push a lot of change in the country. But Thurgood Marshall had a mentor named Charles Hamilton Houston. And they went to the South, I believe, in the 30s, and they were documenting how black people in the South were living, but more importantly, the school system. So when people try to insinuate that Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, and these guys, they literally just did all this. They risked their lives, risked getting killed. Obviously Dr. King got killed. Thurgood Marshall could have easily got killed. He used to be traveling up and down the South by himself on a train in the 30s and the 40s. He could have easily been killed. He almost got lynched in Tennessee. To think that they did all that, just because I want to be able to go hang out with white people. Like, you really think people went through all that simply to hang out with white people? I just think it's kind of a slap in the face.
All right. So let's talk about this, right? This is important too. So like the largest members of the BLM movement were white females, right? And they're not doing it because, like they want to have freedom to be able to, like not be shot by the police. They went and did that because they want to fuck black dudes. That's the reality of things, right? That's what that shit is. Understand something, like useful idiots, right? People who believe in nonsense, right, are utter and completely fucking have no idea what it is that's actually going on. Like you'll buy into your own hype, right? So as a dude who, like, I had a small level of fame, right? I wasn't like infamous, whatever, right? But I had a small level of fame, and you start buying into your own hype at a certain point because everybody around you, you end up having all these people around you who, like will gas your head up. Right. And that's why it is like I don't hang out in my Discord as often as like, y'all would probably like me to. But like, I'll be honest with you, I do it because like I want to be around people who aren't going to suck my cock all the time. Right. Because I need chin checked on a regular basis to make sure that like I don't feel as though like, I'm, that dude. Like, because I'm not. I'm just a regular person, just like everybody the fuck else. I'm just a normal human being. Like, I got fucking flaws and questions and, insecurities like everyone else does, right? But, like, when you're Martin Luther King and you're fucking world famous and, like, everybody's running around, like, you buy into your own hype. Like, legit, you never even really think about that shit. I mean, he was completely surrounded by yes men just all the fucking time who were there literally for his protection and to motherfucking help him do what he does. So like, yeah, 100% he did that shit. So like, he could, be around white folks and get a seat at the white man's table. That's why the fuck he did it. Let's keep going though.
When we look at it like that, I think it was a lot deeper than that. For instance, Thurgood Marshall worked on a case at the University of Texas where this black student was denied entry solely based on his race, although he met all of the qualifications, right? So when people say, well, we should separate and all this, well, they never would have made it separate and equal. They wouldn't even give children in South Carolina a bus to get to school. People had to walk.
All right, I want you to understand something, okay? That's a class issue, right? That's not, an issue of race, right? That's a class issue. Like I grew up in a poor, white school where like literally, like they didn't give us enough buses. And like a lot of us, because of the fact that we were rowdy, would have to walk to fucking school. And we're talking 3, 4, 5 miles every day to go to fucking school if we wanted to go. Right. And they didn't care about us fucking walking across highways and all the nonsense that we had to do. That's a class thing. That wouldn't happen in the suburbs. Never. Right. But like that happens in poor white schools. We had a daycare. We had a probation officer in school. Right. Most of us were on ankle monitors in school, right? Coming up because like, again, they didn't fucking care. Like, they had to fucking educate us, but like, they didn't want to put the money into it. There was no pools. There was no fucking, rec room and weight room. And there was no fucking sports at my school. There was nothing. Right. And this is a normal school. This isn't some like, school for bad kids. This is a normal school. They put all the money because like the school district had 2 high schools, right? And the other high school was the rich kids' high school. And it had a fucking planetarium and a pool and like fucking sports programs and all this shit. We didn't have anything. And we weren't able to go there because they wanted us, you know what I'm saying, to be what we were, poor people, and kept away from them. They were talking about combining the 2 schools, and the parents went to the goddamn fucking thing and said, we don't want our kids going to school with those animals. And they weren't talking about the black folks. This is the reality of things. It's class. Class is always the same. And the problem is when you had blacks in pre-integration who had nice neighborhoods and had, businesses and had families and had all these things, it immediately got wrecked. Because they couldn't compete with the amortization, which means like the size of these giant fucking businesses that were, nationwide. Because they were a local business and they got fucking eaten alive. This happens all the time. It's the same as Walmart coming in and wrecking small towns. Same as Family Dollar, McDonald's, Wendy's putting fucking small businesses out of business. Like literally there's a pizza shop here, right? Ran by two old Italian people, right? Out in the middle of the woods. And right up the street, there's a gas station with a Subway. There are lines at the fucking Subway on a regular basis to get fucking subs. Even though that pizza shop is 1,000% better. This is the fucking problem. Real shit. We can't have this conversation. We don't want to have this conversation. We refuse to have this conversation. This is the part of this that we're not talking about. Right? We're like, your businesses were eaten. Your whole, like, your fucking 77% of black kids are born to single moms. We don't have those conversations in the end of the day. This is the thing that, like, yo, you're missing because you don't know that you're not. You don't know that you're missing it. Like, you only know that, like, there's something wrong. But, like, you don't know what you're missing and why you're missing it. This is kind of the problem. The problem is culture. The problem is values. The problem is y'all haven't been left alone to do your own thing. Friedrich List had an idea. It's called the American system. It was an economic system, right? Basically, very simply put, you protected what it is that, like it wasn't able to compete on a large scale internationally with tariffs and things of this nature, right? Until it was able to grow to the level of where it was efficient enough and strong enough to compete in the outside market. We didn't even have that conversation about whether or not the black community and the black people in America were able to compete on a national level before we did what we did. That's where we are. And then right after that, we brought in shit tons of Mexicans and just let them run shop on y'all and kicked you out of almost all your fucking good union jobs aside. And you don't even know that these things existed. You have no idea. In the Carolinas, there used to be fucking meat packing plants where it was union black people supporting middle-class black families. Now it's all Mexican. Illegals at that too. They literally truck them in. And if they get out of line, they call INS and send them on their way. Now, is this a problem with what they're doing with that? Yeah, it doesn't mean like they're going to put black people if we fix it. What they'll do is they'll just pay Mexicans. You don't know what you don't know. Look, man, this video's getting kind of long. I'm going to holler at you. I got a lot of ideas about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got some things to do today. I got to go fix my car and see my kid. This is what it is. Look, y'all like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? This dude watches it. Appreciate it. You want to holler at me, man? Listen, I'll put the link for my Discord and whatchamacallit. Come in and holler at me. All right? I'm always wanting to have conversations. Tom Piece of Pete, no douche. No deal. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.